Hello everyone, myself Dr. Srikanth Cherkuwada, working as an assistant professor in the Department of CSE/AML, St. Martin's Engineering College, Dolapalli. So today I am going to present the topic about database languages in DBMS. So before going to this, so we need to know what is called database and what is called data. So database is nothing but which is a collection of interrelated data, and it termed about data. So data is nothing but meta information. So that meta information might be a student roll number, student name, anything. But when we want to get the information, so that metadata contains some other metadatas also, like what we call it as information. So it is dependency on the data. So data might contain student number, student name, but the database is a collection of interrelated data where these data might be collectively as one particular place. So this is known as database languages. So in this database languages, so there are different types of database languages were there. So one is DDL, data definition language, DML, where we can call it as a data manipulation language. The other one is data control language. Now we will see here database versus DBMS. So where database contains collection of data, so also called as database, where here it is called a student database, you can able to see here. And where coming to the DBMS, it's a software application which can able to manage the data, and it is also known as here the user data. So user will have an directly will application. So you will be cannot able to interact with the directly to the database. So first of all, what he will do, so he will go first, he will interact with the software application, then only he can able to go for the database. This is how he is interacting with the database. So next one, here database types. So database types are which are known as relational and non-relational. If you can able to see here relational database which is known as a non-relational database, and here if you see here, this is called relational database, where it can able to store MySQL and Oracle and as well as MariaDB. So these are the three things which relates to relational database, where it is known as non-relational database which can be stored in the database tables. So that is known as NoSQL. NoSQL in the sense no structured, that means there is no structure for that particular database containing. So it's called an MongoDB database, which we call it as it will be stored in the XML schema, where data will be stored under some metadata, like what we can call it as db.schema. Within that we will write in the brackets like, so this is the syntax, like what we will write. So we will have a name, roll number, so SID, SNAME, these all the things will be configured in the particular schema. So this is how we all create a users as well as database tables, everything. So now if you see here, what is SQL and why it is required in our database programming language? Because we cannot able to interact with the particular database directly, so we should have some software in order to communicate to the database. So for that, what we will use? The programming language. So in order to use that programming language, we require some component. That component we will call it as SQL, which is in a previously which we call it as SQL. So this was actually previously they have configured it as name acronym ad, so SQL, but now they are calling it as structured query language, which makes sense that we need a language which can be able to interact with the databases, so that we can able to interact the particular DB. So some CRUD operations has to perform, which is known as create, read, update and delete. So these are the operations which we are going to perform. In this we can also see SQL and MySQL. So MySQL, why we are using here? What is the term that MySQL says that? MySQL is nothing but it's a specific relational database which is used for SQL, and it's a query language. Now you can also see what is the history of SQL. So history of SQL is meant for, so majorly in 1970s we have an from IBM research we have relational database, and moreover it started as SQL. As I told you previously, we have come to know that it is a SQL. Later it is renamed as SQL because of due to trademark issues. This is what was happened here, and now we will directly enter into the SQL. So SQL is known as what I told as a regarding structured query language, and it's also a programming language which is used to communicate and manipulate the data in the databases. And moreover, it helps to user to perform the CRUD operations, create, read and update and delete operations, And here there are types of SQL commands over here. There are DDL, DML and DCL. DDL are nothing but data definition language, DML is nothing but data manipulation language, and DCL is nothing but data control language, where DDL says that it's create, alter and update, and DML says that insert, update and delete, and DCL says that grant, revoke. So these are the things which you are going to see in this particular types of SQL commands. So here you can able to see, next slide, these are the commands which we literally know one by one about each command. So those are nothing but data query language, which is nothing but DQL. Here we will be using SQL commands. So where we will have an select query will be there. That select query we are going to utilize. By using that, we are going to retrieve the data. Suppose if you want to retrieve all the data from a particular table, we are going to retrieve using the particular table data using select query. So in such a way, we are going to insert as well as update. So now here we can able to see data manipulation language, where in this particular data manipulation language we are going to use data stored in the database that contains insert, update and delete. So using insert, so what we will do, we will insert the records in the particular database, and as well as update is also used for updating the data in the database. So how we are going to do these all the operations, we will learn one by one. So here first one, this is transaction TCL, as I told you. Here we will understand one by one. Basically first we will create a database which is named as school. So here what we have taken, database which is named as school. Now what we will do, so in this database school, we are going to create some tables, so which are known as student and as well as teacher. So there are two tables we have considered. So now in the student, what we need to create, we need to create S name as well as roll number, and table 2 which contains teacher, which is known as T name and as well as T ID. So table ID and the table name which is of the teacher. That means teacher ID we should know and teacher name we should know. So for that what we need to create, we should use these two properties. So that means we are going to create these two columns. So hence now what you are going to see, S name, roll number, T name, T ID, all are the attributes which we have created for a particular database which is known as school. Okay, next. Now SQL commands. So we entered into the DCL, DML and DDL commands. So where we have listed over here such as grant and revoke, insert, update and delete, and DDL are create, alter and drop. This is how we have gone through one by one. So you can able to see here how we have created. So this is how a particular school database we have taken. Now you can able to see here there is a course. So that consists of in school what it will be there. So some courses we will run. So let us say a tabular form which is known as course, and we will also see which is known as fees. So here this fees, how we are going to collect. So that means for example, let us say one student is telling that I have paid the fee. So using that, how can you say that this is authenticated? So we need to know whether the student is there or not, or paid or not, we need to know. For that what we need to see? So for that purpose we need to search. So in order to search for that, what the command we will be using? Select command. So we will select the command and we will go into the fees data table. So there in the data table we will be going to see so the person is paid or not. So in order to know that whether the person is paid or not, how? So we will take the particular person, that means student ID and S name. So using student ID and S name, we are going to identify the particular person has paid the fee or not. But there is one more thing also, we cannot able to access directly through the student ID and student name. Now what we need to have, another one is so the dependency, where we will have an foreign key and as well as primary key. So this might be dependency on accounts. So this particular thing we need to check where, so the particular accounts. So in the accounts department, if the particular fees was paid, they will be giving a status as paid. So based upon that, we are going to create some other commands to authenticate that the person is paid or not. That means the student is paid the fee or not in the university or the school, we will come to know. This is how we are going to do. Now coming to the hospital, we have huge amount of patients will be there. So when we have huge amount of patients, so we need to know which patient is suffering from which disease. Let us consider the same. situation. So at that time, the patient ID will be there, patient name will be there. So the demographic information which we will be having, we can able to access that one. But there is one more problem is also there, where the patient ID, patient name is not sufficient. Along with that, whoever the appointed, like the doctor appointment who has taken by them, so they need to know that particular thing also. So which hospital they joined, where they have admitted, these all the data we need to create. So for that we need to create some more queries. This is how we need to create a database. For these particular things, we need an operations called insert, update and delete. So and as well as we need to first creating a database. In that database we are going to create tables. In the tables we are going to insert the values. So this is the procedure how a database can able to store the data into its tabular form. So after completion of inserting tabular form, we are going to retrieve the data in this manner. Okay, this is how the functionality. For example, we have considered two case studies like school, or else we can say university database, and as well as hospital database. This is how we will be working. And next, you can able to see here, I have created a database. So that database name as database name. So in this way the syntax will be there, create database, database name. So this is how we will be taking care. So now I will explain here. So you can able to see by using here I will be explaining you with the help of operators such as, here you can able to see one minute. Database languages. Database languages. So in this database languages, so what are the languages we know? So first thing we know SQL. So what is SQL? SQL is a structured query language. Now in this structured query language, so what we are going to learn? First one, how to create a database. In order to create a database, we should go through DDL commands, data definition language. So this is known as data definition language. Next one, we will be going for what? So we will be going for data manipulation language, because after creation of database, what we are going to do? We are going to do data manipulation, that means insertion, updation and deletion. This is what we are going to do. Now next one, we are going to do data control language. So that's called DCL. So once we have done with the DCL, data control language, we will come to know that how we can able to grant permission for the user to access the data. So this is what DCL termed as. Now in this DDL, what we are going to learn? So in this DDL, what we are going to learn? So first one, we will be having create. Okay, first one we are going to make create. Next one, what? After creating, if you want to modify anything, so we will do alter. Okay, create, alter, update. Okay, these are the things which you are going to do. Okay, so next one, so here we are going to do in the DML commands, insert, update and delete. So these are the DML commands which we will come to know. Okay, so but why I have written update multiple times? So here you can see in the DDL commands, instead of update, so everyone will be confused. So why update has written? But instead of update, we are going to make select. So that is what every user will have a confusion state, that everyone will think that here update will come, but we should not write update. Instead, what we need to know? We need to know select, because after creating and after updating, altering, so what we are going to do? We are retrieving the data. Hence, we will call it as select. Now, coming to the DCL, what DCL will do? I already told you, administrative privileges, revoke and grant the permissions. This is what in the particular database language it is going to do. Okay. Now, next one, you can able to see these are the particular operators, or we can call it as data types or database languages. So DDL, data definition language, data definition language containing what amma? So create, alter and select, and here DML commands insert, update and delete. And coming to DCL language, we will have a revoke and grant. In this way, we are going to create, alter and here select. Along with that, one more operator is there, that is called drop. Okay, this is also known as drop. So create, alter, drop, insert, update, delete, revoke, grant. So in this way, our particular database languages were derived into 3 variants. So DDL, DML and DCL. So this is what we are going to present now. So now again we will go back to our particular slide. Okay, now you can able to see here. Yeah, now you can see previously we have talked about creation of database, deletion of database and using a database. Here deleting a database is nothing but we are going to use drop command. Using drop command, we are going to tell about how to delete a database. Okay, so how to delete a database, and using this particular database, how you are going to access. That means it is a case sensitive. You need to use command. In MySQL, what you will do, whenever you are going to retrieve your data, you should use MySQL. In MySQL, what you will be using? The keyword called use. So for showing the database, you will be using show database. Here use database name. So now, so to show the database, in this manner we will be doing. And next, coming to the table, how to create a table, up to now we learned. So here create table, table name, where data type 1, so that is called constraint. So for example, let us say example, we will do one thing. So we will take one example and we will do one particular notation here. So you can see here. So previously we gone through this particular thing, right? So first one, for creating the database, what we will do? So we will go through here the particular database. So create database name. So database name is, so whatever we have taken, university. So what university contain? Serial number, S name, okay, serial number, S name, fee status. These are the previous columns we have considered, correct or not? These are the previous columns we have considered. So now in this particular scenario, we know that this particular thing in this particular S number, S name and fee status. So there is one problem. What? S number should be always a primary key, and moreover S name should be always a like candidate key also can be there, and as well as without a key also we can make it as. So we should have a primary key. And fee status and a DOB, date of birth. So date of birth might be, we should termed as DD, MM, YY while insertion. Okay, so to create a database, these fields are enough. But what constraints you are using? S name should not be not null constraint. So S name compulsory, you need to give a name. So hence what we are going to do? We are going to give not null. So not null constraint we are going to give for this one. Okay, in this way a particular create command can be done. Now we will go for alter. What we will do? Alter. So which table we want to alter here? Here university. So in this university, alter university. So this university table, alter university name. That means alter table name. So here what we need to write, amma? Alter table name. So here we have considered alter table university. So in that alter table university, what we are going to do here? University. So alter table name. So where it contains. So we need to have set. Set is the keyword. Using set, what we need to do? So using set operator, we need to specify which column has to specify which one. Suppose for example, here I have considered S name. So maybe in the university always one problem will be there, where S name has to modify. That means their names might be mistakes. So we need to set their names as, set names as, so for example, S name it might be what? So Ravi. So that he has to change it as, so I will be changing what? So I will be changing into Kavi something. So instead of R it was specified as K. So that is how we are going to specify this alter command. Now coming to drop table name. So what we will do? Drop table name. So drop table, what it will do? So it will entirely drop that table. So that means whether the data will be containing or not. So the data will be not be containing, and schematic structure will also be gone. This is what drop command. Coming to the delete. So delete table name. So if you do like this, so will be done? No. So why? Because we need to give in that particular data which column has to be deleted, we need to specify, then only the particular column will be deleted. So in this way, a drop table in the delete and truncate will be different. That we will see in the last phase. So in this particular PPT, so I am going to discuss about in the last phase. So we will be discussing comparison of truncate and as well as drop and as well as delete. So this is what we will be seeing now. Here you can see so now you can able to see here. Yeah. Now what we have done? Alter is completed. Now rename. So now you can see here rename. Rename is the command which is used to change the name of the existing file. Name of the existing file. That means, for example, if I want to change the database name or the object name or the table name or the column name or index name, anything we want to change means, or the constraints we want to change means, we will use the rename. Here, in order to rename the particular thing, rename table name to particular new table. In this way, the rename command will work. Now you can see here. So the above query we can rename database, old database name to new database name. This is how we are going to update the particular database table. And you can see here truncate command. So using truncate command, it moves all the rows. That means we can able to move all the rows from the given table, leaving the table empty but preserving its structure. What is that meaning? So it will delete all the data, but it will preserve the entire structure of the particular table. So that is known as truncate. Truncate table name. So now you can able to see here how the particular truncate, delete and drop. So this is the next phase where we are going to learn. So what is called truncate? So truncate, which removes all the rows from a table, and you can see here delete, where we will have used to remove specific rows from a table based on the condition, and where you can able to see here where the drop command, which is used to completely remove the table. This is what the difference is. Let us explore in more practically that this particular remove, how it will be removing all the rows. You can see truncate table name. That is a syntax for truncate which we are going to use. So what is called? Truncate is the keyword where we are going to use as a command, and here truncate then moreover what? Table name. Which table we want to delete? That particular table we will call it as, that particular table we will assign here. Truncate table name. Now here what? Next, delete. So what is delete command over here? Use it to remove specific rows only from a table based on the condition. As I told you previously in the slide, so where we are going to say it is a based upon the condition, we are going to delete our particular data. That means, so if you want to delete unnecessarily, we have created some data. So when we unnecessarily created or unexpectedly was done, so we want to remove the data, or sometimes if the student is passed out, or if the student was not there in this particular branch, or he was moved out. So like that, what we need to do based upon our specific condition, we will be specifying a condition that from particular delete department, for example, delete from What we'll write? Delete from table name. What is the table name? So table name is here. So for example, university. So in the university is the database that containing the table name which is known as student. So that student name, student table name, and where condition is SID is equal to 601. 601 is passed out. So a fourth year passed out, I am going to remove. So why? Because it is not necessary, because of due to he passed out. So that is what in that case we are going to remove. But what is the thing? So you want to know that one. What is the thing? So if you use in place of truncate, so truncate will delete entire schematic condition. But where delete will delete only that particular row or the particular record of the particular student where we are deleting. Okay. Coming to the drop, it is very special feature where we are going to completely remove table. Where we are going to completely remove the table. That is what I told you previous thing. So we are going to remove completely this particular table. Hence, what we are going to say? It is known as drop table name. So that syntax we should follow compulsorily, that drop table. So table name. So table name is student, I told you. So when I given the student name as a table name, at that time it will be completing the removing the table. So it will not be existing in the database. This is how we are going to drop the table. Now, when you see this particular these things, so in real time, which one will very complicated? So I want to conclude this one. So with the help of this particular thing, so where we can able to see with the help of this video. Now we will see the video based upon up to now what I discussed the topic about DDL, DML and DCL. Now we have discussed up to now comparison of the table. Now we will be seeing about what are the all the comparisons still up to now what we have seen. This is one known as DDL, DML, DCL commands, where DML stands for data definition language, where it defines or modify the structure of the database that containing, so create, alter and as well as drop. So where creating the table, we are going to alter the table means modifying the table, and drop means deleting the table. This is what we learned in the DDL. Coming to DML, where DML stands for data manipulation language. So it states that manipulating the data in our particular table. That is what about it says. And coming to that, in that there is called select, insert and update and delete. So this is how we are going to see read data, adding data and removing the data. This is how the DML data manipulation language works. And coming to here, data control language. So data control language states that it controls the language. That means how it will be giving the administrative privileges and it will be giving the privileges to the users also. Control access to the data in the database. How it will control who can access the data, which can able to grant the permissions, revoke the permissions, where we can execute select and insert and also remove the access permissions to the particular user. And these are the types of commands which we learned till now. So this is known as DDL, DML and DCL. So you can able to see here DDL create and modify the structure, manipulate the data, where DCL states that control access to the data. This is what we have up to now discussed this thing. Now we will see. So here you can able to see with the demonstration of DDL and DML commands, where we will have a look for about DDL, DML and DCL, where you can able to see here DDL and DML, DCL, where DDL stands for data definition language and it containing define or modifying the structure of the database, and it's also we can able to see it can contains create, alter and drop. So this can be able to create a database and modifying the table and as well as deleting the table. And now you can able to see here next one, you can able to see here data manipulation language, which containing manipulating the data and as well as in our tables it can able to do select and as well as insert and as well as update. So in this way delete all the commands will be done here using reading data and adding data and removing the data. This is how we are going to do, and you can able to see here DCL commands, which is known as data control language, which can able to say controlling and accessing to the database, where it will control as I told you. So where can able to provide the permissions as a grant and as well as revoke. Using these two commands we are going to perform this particular operations. Now you can see these are the DDL and DML and DCL commands, where we will have an overview here we have to now we have seen. And now you can go through here up to now what the thing I have told you. You can see here